What's going on, guys? Expect Greatness here from IXO Gaming again with another draft video for you guys. So last week we ended off on the Bengals second pick, and yeah, so let's get started. So they picked 21 overall. Um, they could use another receiver. They got AJ Green last year. They lost a few guys the year before, Chad Ochocinco, so they could get Kendall Wright. Once again, they could use a corner. Offensive line wouldn't hurt. So that's that. The next pick is the Browns, and this is interesting too because the Browns have the number 4 pick overall and this pick, so this is number 22 overall. If they take a receiver with number 4, I doubt they take a receiver with number 22. But if they don't, they could take a guy like Stephen Hill, who I've heard a lot of buzz around the Browns. They could take Kendall Wright if he drops. So guys like that at receiver, but if not, maybe they reach for one of those, what is considered a second round quarterback at this point. Maybe they get a cornerback, or they have other needs like offensive line, interior offensive line, stuff like that. So the Lions are the next pick. They really need a corner, so if Drake or Patrick slides, that'd be a good fit. Maybe they like Janoris Jenkins a lot and they take him. Maybe Stephon Gilmore slides, or maybe they like a guy who maybe isn't considered a sure first rounder, like I don't know, Trumaine Johnson or somebody like that. So they're probably gonna take a corner. They might not though. They could use a defensive end. Maybe a guy like Courtney Upshaw if they think he's a good 4-3 D end, or Andre Brandt if they like him. So there's a few possibilities with the Lions at number 23 overall. The next pick is the Steelers pick. It's number 24 overall. The Steelers could use offensive line. They could make their defense younger. Work on making their defense younger because they have a really good defense, but it's getting up there in age. Much like the Patriots a few years ago, and they got a bunch of young pieces like Gerard Mayo and Devin McCurdy. So the Steelers could use offensive line, like I said. Mike Adams would be a good choice here. Maybe Jonathan Martin, maybe Peter Cons, guys like this. They just really could use pieces on that offensive line almost anywhere. On the defensive side, they could take a guy like Dante Hightower. If Courtney Upshaw slides, they could take Courtney Upshaw. Andre Branch. Guys like this, maybe a defensive tackle, Fletcher Cox if he slides, which I highly doubt, because yeah. So that's how I see that. The Broncos with the 25th pick. The Broncos got Peyton Manning. They could use another wide receiver to help out. Maybe they take Kendall Wright. They could use defensive line help like Devon Still. Maybe another running back. John Fox likes to run the ball. Maybe they like one of these guys who's a first, second round, guy who maybe isn't first, like David Wilson or somebody like that. Number 26 overall, the Texans. So the Texans are an interesting team. They were really good. They did good last year. They made the playoffs for the first time, but they had a lot of injuries, and I think they would have gone a lot farther if they had all their players healthy. So some places that could use help is receiver. They need a second receiver. Maybe Kendall Wright. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they like Alshon Jeffrey. I don't know. They could use another receiver. Or maybe they just go for like best player available type of deal. Or maybe they get a cornerback. They could use another cornerback as well, like Drake or Patrick or somebody like that. So I see them going in one of those directions. If there's a receiver there, they'll probably go with a receiver, somebody like Stephen Hill, Kendall Wright, or maybe Alshon Jeffrey, although he's considered more of a second rounder. The next pick is the Patriots, which is one of 2 picks they have. They have number 27 and 31, and they just really need help on the defense. If Courtney Upshaw slides, which I do have him sliding because he's just been kind of off and on, rising up and down the boards, then they would love to take him, and I would love for them not to, because I think Courtney Upshaw's a good player and he's going to be a good NFL player, and I don't like the Patriots. So Yeah, but I see him going with kind of a best player available on their board at the defensive side of the ball, because they could use help on anything: safety, cornerback, defensive line, linebacker, you know. So the next pick is the Packers, and kind of disappointing season. They had a really good regular season, and they lost in the playoffs, but by the Giants, which was a great game, the eventual Super Bowl champs. And they're probably gonna. I could see them taking a pass rusher like Andre Branch. They could use some offensive line help, maybe Peter Kahns, maybe Jonathan Martin, maybe Cordy Glenn if he slides, people like that, Mike Adams if he slides. Yeah, so they're probably going to go in one of those directions: defensive or linebacker or uh, offensive line. The number 29th pick is going to be made by the Ravens. And the people that everybody almost has penciled in here is Peter Kahns. So they got problems at center. But, I mean, they could use wide receiver. They could use cornerback. Jimmy Smith isn't a sure bet, I would say. You know, so guys like that, maybe they like Drake Kirkpatrick, or maybe they like a guy like Stephen Hill, or maybe they like a guy like Alshon Jeffrey, or Peter Kahns. Those are probably good names to put in that position. The 49ers with the 30th pick. I thought they were going to win last year. I even made a video about it. But, yeah, they didn't. They looked good, and they are good. They failed in the Peyton Manning sweepstakes. Alex Smith's feelings are a little bit hurt. But I'm sure he'll get over it. I'm sure they'll have another good season. They could use a few things. They could get younger on defense. They could use like a defensive end, maybe they like a guy like Jared Crick, who's pretty much considered a first round or a second rounder. But you know, when you're picking at the end of the first round, sometimes you have to get creative. You know, maybe they go for a wide receiver, even though we got a few in the off season. Stephen Hill, Alshon Jeffrey, Kendall Wright, if any of these guys fall. Yeah, they could use a. Yeah, that's probably about it for them. The Patriots have the 31st pick again. They have another high pick, and they could use a corner. You know, like I said earlier, probably is going to be best defensive player available twice. Although if there's a running back or somebody that they like, maybe a wide receiver that they like, they're probably going to trade one of these picks, almost guaranteed, because the Patriots trade a lot. So that's that. They're probably going to take the best defensive player available. You know, Trumaine Johnson, Andre Branch, Dante Hightower if he's available. Guys like this, I would say. And then the Giants have the 32nd pick overall. So they won the Super Bowl last year. They have a really well-rounded team. They could use another running back to help out Ahmad Bradshaw. I think they lost Brandon Jacobs. I'm not positive though. But they could use another running back, somebody like David Wilson if they like him. They could use some linebacker help for sure. Maybe they like Dante Hightower, although I doubt he falls. Linebackers, Zach Brown, maybe they like him. Guys like this. And at these late round picks, that's really when you start getting to the range where it's like it's not a big difference between the 30th pick and the 40th pick in this draft, in my opinion, because there's a lot of similar talents in that area. So maybe they trade back, and maybe a team trades up for somebody that maybe falls, like a quarterback or something that they wanted. So yeah, guys, that's basically the end of the sort of mock draft-ish thing, talking about the picks. I'll probably make a draft review after the draft happens, which is in about a week. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace.